Morning, everybody. It is 8:10 a.m. It is October 7th. Welcome to my channel. Yesterday was pretty much a nothing day. Besides the AMD that the market ripped, and then that market yesterday, man, did not want to touch that market. Just the internals were just ugh, like they were in the middle. We'll get into that in a second. Like the euphoria from the earlier AMD, then it like went down, then pushed up, and then in the overnight pushed back down. We're in balance, folks. There's a lot of indecisiveness in this market. Um, AMD's back up like almost 3.68% again this morning. Um, so this AI thing is just insane. It really is. And a lot of people talking about, is this the bubble? Like back in 99, 2000, the dot com crash. I mean, maybe the euphoria, maybe, but the difference is the companies that are pushing our markets are profitable. They're not just some dot com company that has no revenue. That's the big difference. Stuff like Oklo's nuclear, they don't even have any plants yet or anything for nuclear energy, have no revenue. It's just speculation from down the road, right? But, you know, the stuff that drives our market, the Nvidia, all this, they have revenue. So I don't know. It's just crazy. But right now, right, I'm just going around to all the stocks. So many stocks are in balance. That's why our market's like this. So many heavyweights, they're just in balance. And you know how I always talk about the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, the previous. This is all in stocks as well. They're all by big high volume nodes. There's not a lot of stocks that are moving, meaning that move our markets, okay? I'm not talking about there's outliers there that don't have like a large market cap. There is other stocks that are moving. Obviously, Coinbase, certain other stocks, there are always in the market. There's always a mover, but the stocks that move our market, a lot of them are just in balance. Okay, I took the Broadcom off yesterday because I started to see it was balancing around this like 3 month VPOC. And I got what I wanted yesterday. I was like, oh boy, it went up to the previous day's highs and rejected. And I was like, I just don't trust this market. I go, the spread I have on expires Friday. And you see, it's already back up to 337. So that's why I just didn't want to play around with Broadcom. I don't think that was the right spread to have on now. So I'm still interested in shorting that. It's not the right time. It's not the right time. All right. So with that being said, we got a lot of Fed speak today. Welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use market profile and final profile to find structure in the markets along with supply and demand. GAMX Rose levels, the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the previous day. That is my edge. Okay, that's how I come up with game plans. Okay, in stocks and futures. And so I also use Anchor VWAPs. Lets me know who's in control. All right, buyers or sellers from any given point in time. Market internals lets me know when the market opens, what's the market's capable of, what's under the hood. Execute with Bookmap, right? And then have my trusty expected move indicator always on to see where stocks are hitting the top or bottom of their range. Remember, all stocks close within their expected range every week, 70% of the time. 70% of the time. Okay? Like I said, this market's in balance right now. Okay? Now, if you want to join me every morning, subscribe, set an alert. Let me give you the market story. All right, the news, the economic calendar, the leaders and the laggards. Give you a bunch of technical analysis. Then I give you the long and short trade scenarios in the Nasdaq and ES futures, which you can apply to any stock really, because That's the main indexes that we have in our markets. All right. If you want some more granularity, you're going to join my Discord. That's Confluence Trading. Go to the YouTube homepage, click on the link, sign up. All right, sign up. Yeah, yesterday, boy, I did not like yesterday. I did not like yesterday. Okay. I didn't even update that much because there was nothing. Look, ticks. I put yesterday at 9:50. Ticks mix. Internals under zero, but not weak. Semiconductors leading and XLY lagging. Sitting back here waiting on Monday morning. Then at 11 a.m., ticks have been holding green. Internals giving no edge, just in parity. Basic materials the leader. Laggard, XLC, and XL on real estate basically. Communication. We've been looking at options plays, just watching. ESN supply, balance profile as well. Might enter a short, nothing solid yet. I just left after this. I was just like, I'm not. This is I've seen this before. This is not something a market that I have much edge in. Like, am I gonna force a trade? So I like literally went grocery shopping because I knew pretty much what was gonna happen. Let's see at the point in time where I literally was like, yeah, look at the market. It was just like melting back up in this consolidation. That's just horrible price action. Okay. But this is my Discord, okay? So every day, got trades, options trades, my futures trades, trade recaps, weekend outlook. I'm starting to do that again. With plays that I like Home Depot was like in a short. It did push lower yesterday. Costco's giving me that long, just waiting. I definitely want to go long on Costco eventually. Okay. And you got the weekly expected move here, right here. Put it on your charts. It's free. Okay. Let me be your indicator, folks. I do this every day. All right. Now, let's look at futures. Remember I said yesterday the VIX is up. It's moving higher and the market went higher. A little weird, right? A little weird. So, let's do it. Gold is our leader this morning. Now, this market is very muted today. You can just see it in the numbers. Gold up 0.47, 0.46. Dollars up 0.44. Remember what I was talking about, that dollar. A stronger dollar is not good for equities, generally, okay? The VIX up 0.31. 10-year yield up 0.19. Crude's up 0.10. This is pretty much flat. Look at this. Nasdaq's flat. Russell's flat. Dow's flat. Silver's flat. ES flat. 30-year bonds flat. Wow. There's nothing going on. Ethereum down 0.39. That's nothing for Ethereum, and that's nothing for Bitcoin, down 0.67. Moving on to the Mag 7 Plus here. AMD almost up 4%. All right, closed at 203.71. We're at 211, almost 212 right now. All right, so anybody who possibly who's like, oh my God, I missed the boat, let me get in. Right? Netflix up 0.80, Boeing up 0.40. I mean, is there a real lagger today? Maybe Coinbase. Coinbase, boy. I mean, I did make money, almost 100% return on that, yes, but I just checked what my spread would be doing. Remember, I bought that spread for $3.30. It's at $9.70 right now. $9. So that's why I wanted to put it on. I thought it would pause here, but you never know with those spreads, right? That's why I had to make a decision on Friday. Let me take the credit, and then I thought that butterfly was too narrow. Well, right there, it's still hanging around that 380. So, we'll see. We'll see what it does. Like I said, if we consolidate here, it's great. I still will do something long there. Tesla down 0.70. They're announcing, they have some news. They're announcing, I think, a cheaper Model Y. In Google has some kind of lawsuit or something. Now, I was eyeing a short in Google yesterday. And like I said, when I really was, I had it like all set to take one. And I looked at the chart. It was around its 3-month VPOC. And I was just like, nah, I don't have. This is just a short to be short, even though it could work. I mean, I like it, but it's not the time yet. It's just not. It's just not the time yet. So let's look at top sectors today. UNH leading the pack. Laggard. Ooh, Johnson and Johnson. Did they have earnings? I don't think they did. Something earnings are at 10:14, so they're down today. All right, let's look at some granular. Who's leading the granular list? IBM. I saw they did some kind of AI collaboration or something. They're at 4%. SoFi's up 3.79. We'll just do the 3%ers. PayPal up 3.65. I think that's. I always forget if this is Stellantis or Constellation Brands. I think this is Stellantis or Constellation. I can't remember now. Let's look at laggards. That's Dollar Tree down 3.17. Toll Brothers down 2.43. Lennar. So home builders down this morning. All right, moving on here. Sectors here. Leading the pack, semis again, up 0.68, followed by technology up 0.33. Laggard, healthcare, but not really. Moving on to economic calendar now. Being that our government is still shut down. What do we have? We have a ton of Fed speak today. Okay? Fed Bostic, Fed Bowman, Fed Mirren, Fed Kashkari, all during the market crucial hours that are open. So interesting to see what happens there. We got API crude at 4:30. All right, looking at here, we have a busy schedule. We have all the Fed speak. Trump greets Canada's PM Carney at 11:30. Let's see here. Trump bilateral meeting with Carney at 11:45. Then he has lunch with Carney, 12:15. 3 o'clock. Trump meets Israel hostage. Israel's hostage. Okay. Let's see a market risk here today. So it says European and U.S. equities struggle for direction as traders awaited political developments on both sides of the Atlantic. Gold retreated. Okay. Yeah, there's really nothing here. Like I said, our market's just in balance, folks. Okay. Let's look at some stock news here. That is Constellation Brands. That for the Stellantis. Constellation Brands is a bunch of drinks, beverages. Rose, after the alcoholic beverage maker, posted a fall in second quarter sales that was not as deep as feared. That's one of those, right? That let's say if you played earnings, and they still posted a fall in second quarter, but it wasn't as deep as feared. So the market, so it's up. You see what I mean? Earnings are such a gamble. You just don't know how something's going to react to it, right? Ford stock price dipped prior to the opening bell of the Wall Street Journal reported that a fire at a key supplier will likely disrupt business. Tesla is expected to reveal a more affordable version of its popular Model Y sport utility vehicle on Tuesday, according to media reports. Advanced Micro Devices rose suggesting an extension to a rally from Monday after Jefferies upgraded its rating to the chip maker. Okay, let's see. Okay. And more news here. Let's see. It says OpenAI declares huge focus on enterprise growth with an array of partnerships. OpenAI touted new partnerships to incorporate its AI products across diverse industries at its developer conference on Monday, aiming to drive the strong momentum it has enjoyed among consumers to its enterprise business. So Alphabet, U.S. Supreme Court, U.S. Supreme Court declined on Monday to halt key parts of a judge's order requiring Google to make major changes to its App Store Play. Okay. AppLovin, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has been probing marketing platform AppLovin's data collection practices. Bloomberg News reported on Monday, citing people familiar with the matter. Shares of the company were down at market close. Right. All right, here's that AMD. AMD Jefferies raises stock rating to buy from hold and raises target price to 300 from 170. Okay. That's what we got going there. Let's take a look at the breadth. Look at this, folks. Every time I check this thing, this is the percentage of the stocks in the S&P 500 over their 20-day simple moving average, 54%. That is middling, folks. That's indecisive. That's what our market is right now. That's what our market is right now. Okay. Let's see here. I think we're done there. I think we're done there. I think we might go just to the internals real quick recap because that internals basically kept me away from the markets yesterday. There's a recap, a whole lot of nothing. Okay. Now the market got weak very quickly. This is because of that froth I talked about in my stream. And then what did we do? Right? Powered back. And then this is where at 11 o'clock, look at this. Ugh. This is a market that just doesn't know what to do. Then you rose up, got a little weak, and just went back. Really nothing. And see, tech at the end of the day was down, right? Because of that froth. But there was really nothing to do. There wasn't even really a good setup. Like, look at this, right? You can see the 50-minute candles. This is not healthy movement. This is just, ugh, right? Now, we did hit right here. That's your market internal Z-cap. We don't really need to go. Now, the one outlier I want to show you guys real quick is this vol-D number. So the Nasdaq exchange had 2.37 ratio of volume going into up stocks versus down stocks. So whenever I saw that, I was like, all right. Now, obviously the AMD news, but this is the exchange level. That didn't really go down much. I mean, it was at 3-1, I think, at one time. That's something you don't want to fight too much. So, and just to show you yesterday what we did right here, we went right into the level I talked about. Most traded price of the week, 67, 65, around 64. That was where we bottomed. We went right into a demand zone. But there wasn't even a setup there. We just came in there and popped. You know, if I just blindly entered, it would have worked. Right? All right, moving on to daily charts. And there's not a lot to talk about here just because we're in balance. Okay? We're balancing out. We're coiling up to make a big move. Okay? Coiling up to make a big move. This is the market yesterday. Doji. Doji. And now look. This day, this day, this day. See how we're starting to, we have a 3-day balance now. Okay, where are we at now? 671.97, 671.97. We're at the upper third of yesterday's session. Nothing bearish about this. Okay. Remember, that's last week's highs. Right up here. Okay, so we're within last week's range. All right, let's look at futures now. Let's go. Yeah. We got kind of a doji this morning, or since last night. Remember, this opens up at 6 p.m. on, 6 p.m. on Monday night. This is where this session starts because it's futures. Okay. So just to let you know, if you don't know, every one of these candles is from a 6 p.m. open of futures every evening all the way to 9:30 a.m. I'm sorry, not to 9:30 a.m. These candles are from a 6 p.m. all the way to a 5 p.m. close. The market futures close only for an hour, open back up at 6. So these are pretty much a 23-hour candle each one. Okay, just so everybody understands that. Okay, nothing bearish about this. You move up, you consolidate. Are we going to move up again? Possibly. That's what it looks like. Okay. Qs. Qs. So yesterday, you broke this little 2-day balance, right? Because of that AMD and the froth and all that. You opened with a gap up, right? And then you kind of had a doji as well. Right now, you close above last week's range. Now, where are we now? 608.50. So we're right in the middle, almost in the middle, up to the upper third of yesterday's range. Okay, that's your Qs. Look at futures real quick. There's your futures. Again, sideways futures, boom. We're just consolidating, folks. That's what we're doing. Now, to give you any indication of what we're doing here, so let me change my chart here. I'm going to bring this chart up. Give me a sec. I'll resize it for you guys so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay. So I'm going to show you the balance that I'm just seeing in this market. Okay. I'm going to go to the ETF MAGS. Okay. That is your Tesla, Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, the Mag 7s, your Google. This is just ETF, right? So it tracks all those, right? So in the month, last 30 days, the most traded price is 64, and look at the balance that we're in. You're going to see it more on this daily chart. Look at this. This right here, these profiles are 90 days, so 3-month profiles. So look at this price here. You see this big high volume node here? You see that balance? This is what moves our market, the Mag 7. You see the balance we're in? We're just consolidating. We're just consolidating, and we're right at that most traded price of the last 90 days. That is your like 64. Now, we're going to make a big move from here. It could be up or down. You see it's like hitting the 20-day simple moving average. But you see what I'm saying? Right there. That's all you need to see right there. That's what moves our markets. Those stocks. And they're coiling, right? So when you see each of those separately, you'll see what I mean. So let's look at Amazon. It's a good one. Look at that. This is the most traded price of the year, of the rolling year, is right there. You see where Amazon is? See what I'm talking about? Look, it's at the most traded price of a rolling year. Big high volume there. So the most traded price of the year and the most traded price of the last 3 months. Balance, right? Balance. And all of these, a lot of them are at these big high volume nodes. Okay. Let's look at Meta. Where's Meta? At the 90-day profile. 90-day, the most traded price of the 3 months. Okay. And the Avgo, same thing now. Look, see, this is what made me go, you know what am I doing? Even though I like Broadcom, I like it. It just rejected once, twice, 3 times. And look at that candle, that inverted hammer. I all like that. But I was like, you know what? This market's like lollygagging around. The spread is, expires Friday. It's not the right spread yet. But look at the 3-month most traded price. I don't like it. I know what happens there. You guys know in futures, I don't like trading there. I don't like being right there. I don't. Okay. Let's look at Tesla. Is Tesla by a high volume node? That's one that's not. But look, it's still coiling here. It didn't move though. Let's look at Google. Google's a short that I like. All right. Not at a high volume node, but we're building some volume right here at 251s. But if I go to the monthly, let's look at the monthly. Yeah, high 251 right there. See what I mean? It's like probably if I went to let's go to Tesla in the monthly here. Probably will have a high volume node here. Yep. Tesla's most traded price of the last month, 426. Okay. All coiled. Look at this. These are weeklies. Look. It's just balance, folks, everywhere. This is what deters me from doing it. Let's look at Apple. Apple is a short, I'm being honest with you, that I'm looking at. All right. Look at Apple's kind of coiling up. See, here you don't have a 90-day. The most traded price of the year is 229. Go back here, look at this. 255 is the most traded price of the month. You see all this coiling, all that volume? This is very weak foundation, and I am looking. If this market starts to fall apart, I believe Apple's a good candidate to short. Okay, the structure is very poor. Okay, that's what I'm looking at. All right, I think I made my point. I think I made my point. Microsoft, look at this. This has been coiling for a while. I just wanted to show you that. And I kept going. I really want to get long Microsoft, right? But look at this. Most traded price of 3 months is 511. Look at all this coiling, right? And it finally broke out yesterday. I just don't trust it. All right, but let's look at the monthly. Look at that. Look at all that coiling. That is one, two, three, 4 weeks of coiling, and it finally broke out. So that's a weekly chart. All right, so that's the finally it made a move. Now I don't know what we do from here, but this needed to happen. Now, if this rejects and goes back, I will look for short in Microsoft. Okay. All right, we're done there. We're done there. Let's go to the market profile volume. Oh, yeah. Hourly charts, I ain't going to tell you much today. I don't need to cover the hourly charts. We're just in balance. I mean, you'll see it as soon as I put up this screen, the balance we're in. Okay. So this is your market profile, volume profile. This is just, you only can be active on the edges here, folks. That's the only thing that I'm interested in, the edges. All right. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to look at the volume profile. You don't have excess to the top. You have a bunch of distributions. This is our value area, right? A little bit of excess to the bottom, but we're in balance. Okay. Clearly you can see all these sessions coiling up. All right. Now we're inside yesterday's range. Yesterday had a kind of a weakish high to it, so I think this could be I think we break these highs. Okay. But I'm not sure. I think we balance. I don't know. We're looking for some type of catalyst. The government shut down, so we're not getting the data from that. We didn't get unemployment. We didn't get non-farm payrolls. So really, what it comes down to is very simple. Okay, you got your 67, 66s. Remember, this is yesterday's lows. Okay, also was with the previous overnight sessions lows, and it's the most traded price of the rolling week. Okay, that's the edge. That's one edge. The other edge is 6,800. Last week's highs. Right here. That's the playground, folks. Now, we do have a demand zone here. Okay. What do we do? Because we're in balance. Okay. We really are just in balance. So to me, it's very simple today. Very simple. Okay. Is whenever you're like this, right? You like to play edges. That's what I like to do. Play the edges. Play the edges. Why? Because once you're in balance, whoever's long down here is most likely going to take profits here. And then those buyers become sellers and new shorts to help the market move back to the other side of balance, and then rinse, repeat. Rinse, repeat. Okay? So let's get into the scenario. Here we go. Very simple. Alrighty, so we're going to start with the short side just because we're up to the edge here. Okay? We have supply up in here, last week's highs. Okay? We have a poor high in the overnights and a not the best structure. I think this needs to be broken. So, short, right? If I see this and we go boop, and let's say we put a nice wick in and get some lower highs, right? All longs from here, here, pretty much getting paid in the overnight. So we could just finally come through here. If we come through the most traded price of yesterday, it's, oh, all right. we're going to get this move. Test the month to date VWAP right here in this key level. 67.66 yesterday's lows, also the previous day's overnight lows. I think if we do get some weakness here, we could push down to the 67.49s, and you very well can go back into the mean. You know, if you break this 67.41s, that could cause a farther move, and that would be the break from balance. Don't know if that happens. Okay. Looking at longs. Okay, a long. Now, of course, there's always the breakout, right? I said that this kind of got poor structure up here. We don't have a good excess. We definitely can go break, right? Break up, push back to last week's highs, the 6,800, that psychological number, hold it, and then melt up to who knows where. Okay? Now, if this market does what I said earlier, and it does push back down, right? Back down to the 67.66 is the most traded price of the week. The month to date anchored VWAP right there as well. You got a demand zone here and here. So we could definitely do one of these. Oh my God, we're selling off. And then it recovers, retests the most traded price, the month to date anchored VWAP, and then you can go back. Okay? It's kind of only what I'm interested in. You know, take advantage of the balance rules. The tricky part about the balance rules is this. Whenever you are, let's say, doing this, everybody in your side, including myself, would be like, man, are we breaking out? But let's say internals aren't that strong, right? It always looks like, oh my God. And then all of a sudden, like this happens, and then it's like, oh, we start doing this. And then once you come down here, you're like, are we breaking out? And we do that, and then we do this. It's then you get the move back. Not easy, because you feel like you're always fighting the current. Okay? Moving on to the NASDAQ. All right, NASDAQ's balanced. NASDAQ definitely has a more balanced profile. We do have not the best excess, but you do have some excess. Look, you got value. That's a beautiful bell curve, folks. That's a beautiful bell curve. Okay. Now, we're inside yesterday's range. Now, yesterday, you do have a proper tail on the NASDAQ. You do have a proper tail. Okay. In the distributions, you can see 25150 is the most traded price of the 24-hour session. 25030 is the most traded price of the week in the RTH session. Okay? So, we're basically going to talk about the same kind of thing. You have a lot of stacked demand here. The one thing that the NASDAQ's been doing, okay, is building volume and then pushing up, which is like the right way you want something to move, because it's not hard, it's not very easy to retrace that. Meaning, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm going to show you. See this volume here, and then the market pushed, right? The market pushed off that volume, and then you have volume here, push, volume here, push, right? If you move, okay, if you move like this, that is easy to retrace, right? And when you're moving like this, boom, boom, that's healthy, and each one of these consolidations are very hard to push through. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. All right. Now, we're a little off. Like, see how the ES is kind of like the lows are resting on the most traded price? Well, this isn't, right? But you do have a level here. Big demand zone. So we're going to encompass yesterday's lows, 2511's 10s, and the 25122s, the overnight lows. So this is a key area to look at here. Okay. And then we have the 25253s with this right here, and you have a supply zone here. And so notice we're over last week's highs. So Nasdaq has more bullish structure than the ES right now. And then we have this area here. I'm sorry I didn't break out the session in the ES before to see price action. All right, let's get into scenarios. Very easy today. Now, every day, this market has been a chess match where it's like constantly something's up and something's down. Oh my God, this is up, but then this is down. The internals are not showing, are showing. The internals always show me what's going on, but like yesterday, it showed me that it was just crazy. It was nuts. It was crazy. It was like it didn't make sense. Not that it didn't make sense. It just when everything's in parity and the market's like moving weird, it's like, what am I gonna do here? Trade this just because I want to do something? It didn't make sense to do anything. I would have been mad if I was like forced to trade and take a loss. I was like, I took a loss on this market. It's Monday, right? So let's talk about it. Obviously, we broke this supply zone. That's gone. Okay. And you can see just what I was talking about with price action. Just here, look. Consolidate, push up, consolidate, and then boom. Didn't even push down that much. Consolidated again, pushed up. Consolidated again, pushed up. See, that's like healthy. That's ooh, ooh, that's this level. All right, let's talk about it. Let's do it. I'm not even sure if I put this up yet. All right, so right off the bat, we can start. I'll start with the bull side, and it's got more bullish structure to it. It's okay. Again, this that 25253s got supply here. Remember, this is really moving up healthily. Healthily, I don't even know if that's a word. But let's look at it. If we break this, right, you're gonna look for some time to retest to then just start melting up all-time highs. Okay. Now, with this case, we're high up in this session. If we do get a push down, go through the most traded price of the overnights into yesterday's most traded price and in the 24-hour most traded price of the week. Right here, there's so much demand here. If we just do this, we could do this as well. This demand is stacked. It's a just bunch of stacked demands here. That is not easy to get cut through. It's just not. Okay. So pretty much pullbacks in here can get bought if the market supports it. All right. Now, short side. This will not be easy. But again, if the market gets panicked, it can cut through it. Okay. Let's make all-time highs. Come back with a nasty wick. Lower highs. Now we're going to come back, test that most traded price of yesterday. If we take out these lows, and then you can take out yesterday's lows, you do have a shot to come back to the 25030s. Now, we could get bought up here and push right back. You break this, you can get going and go to the 248. Do I think that's going to happen? I don't know. I don't know how strong or weak this market's going to be. Right? But that's really the only short that I'm interested in. Something up here. Because in here, I don't know. Maybe if we take out yesterday and we kind of consolidate, maybe you get that. But that's, I don't know, there's a lot of stack demand there. Okay. That's it, folks. Let's see if the daily charts show us something or my express volume profile chart. Let's look at the ES real quick. Let's look at this together. Look at this. This is disgusting. This is really, ugh. Look, these are 4-hour candles, folks. So this is the most traded price of this month. It's not rolling. It's the actual. So that's your 66, 66, 67, 65 is also this week's most traded price and your month's most traded price. Right? But look at this price action. Ugh. That's not doing anything. But see how it doesn't we don't have excess? I think the market wants higher. All right. Let's look at the Nasdaq. Nasdaq's not as concentrated as the ES, which I just showed you guys before. It still has more of a balanced profile for this week, so you don't have that as much. Okay, but we saw that before. Let's look at ES daily chart here. That's the futures daily chart. You can see it's just that's 3 days of bounce. We already know this. The Nasdaq has a little more. Yeah. See, it's a little more. It's not as balancy. Okay, but that's it, folks. That's it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed that analysis. If you did, smash the like button. Be much appreciated. And as always, please join me every morning. Let me be your cup of coffee, your morning cup of Joe, tea, whatever you drink in the morning. Let me be your podcast. I give you the market news, the market story, why the market's doing what it's doing, what to expect. And I gave you a bunch of news, technical analysis, just gave you the long and short trade scenarios in the NASDAQ and the ES futures. Okay, NASDAQ and the ES futures. Now, if you want more in-depth coverage, you'll join my Discord. That's Confluence Trading. Click on my YouTube homepage and sign up with the link for the Discord. Okay, you get a bunch of intraday commentary. Let me be your indicator. Okay, you get my weekly expected move indicator for free, and come join me. All right, come join me. Now we have our plan today, folks. I really like the plan. Now, is it going to be a weird market again? It might be. It might be. Okay, and I have no problems with not trading it. Even my SPX, I was just like, I did not have a good trade setup. I always read the market because the market yesterday told me to stay away. I didn't have a big edge in yesterday. My edge was to stay away. So remember, no trade is a trade. So hope everybody has a great day today. Maybe we get some extra volatility today. I don't know. Right? We're in balance until we're not. So if I see you in my Discord, hopefully I do. If not, I'll see you right tomorrow.